The sky tore apart above New York. Not clouds, something deeper. As if the heavens themselves had been split open, exposing a raw wound in reality. Out of that rift slid vast silhouettes, jagged and immense, blocking out the sun. Their hulls glowed with a strange bronze light, etched with symbols that no human eye had ever seen before. For one fragile moment, millions of people across the world froze. Children in Times Square lifted their heads to watch. Businessmen stopped mid-stride. A boy clutched his mother's hand and whispered, "Are those ours?" The answer came a heartbeat later. The alien ships fired. White-hot lances rained down. Towers of glass and steel melted, bridges collapsed, firestorms consumed everything. The screams began and did not stop. Far beneath Geneva, Commander Elias Kane stood inside Earth Defense Command, watching feeds pour in from every satellite still intact. Cities were burning on every continent. Kane's face remained hard, his gray eyes unreadable, but his jaw clenched until it hurt. A young analyst stumbled to his side. "Sir, they're hitting New York, Paris, Shanghai, Sao Paulo, simultaneous strikes. I can see it." Kane's voice was quiet, flat. He didn't look away from the screens. "Get me orbital defense. Now." The holodeck lit up, showing the array of automated satellites circling Earth, each armed with experimental rail cannons. Kane gave the order without hesitation. "Fire everything." A ripple of kinetic rounds surged upward, streaks of silver cutting the void. For a moment the command bunker held its breath. Then the truth appeared on the feeds. The projectiles struck the alien leviathans and ricocheted harmlessly against shimmering energy fields. "Shields." The analyst's voice cracked. "No damage. Not even." "Then fire again," Kane snapped. "Until you run out of metal." Another officer turned in his chair, pale. "Sir, incoming transmission. Broad spectrum. They're broadcasting everywhere." The bunker fell silent. The feed stabilized. An alien filled the screen, a tall figure encased in living armor, his skin like obsidian glass, his eyes burning amber. His voice was a low resonance, translated into every human tongue at once. "I am Archduke Vareth Kale, Fleet Marshal of the Galactic Empire. Your species is an aberration. Violent. Untamed. Dangerous. We do not tolerate vermin. Today your world is cleansed." The transmission cut. Kane exhaled slowly, his hand curling into a fist. "So it's extermination." The room erupted, politicians, generals, advisors speaking over one another. Some begged to attempt negotiation, others screamed for retaliation, others simply sat in stunned silence. Kane slammed his hand down on the table. "Quiet." His voice carried like a blade. "Look at those feeds. You think they want surrender? They're not here to rule. They're here to wipe us out. If you bend a knee, you die kneeling." No one argued after that. Minutes later, the first human fleet lifted from Earth, ragtag frigates and cruisers, most still half in testing stages. Kane watched their telemetry climb into orbit. He didn't believe they would return, but he needed them to buy time. Through the command bunker's tactical view, the alien ships dwarfed the human fleet like predators surrounding prey. The battle lasted less than 6 minutes. Human vessels turned into fireballs one by one, their wreckage raining down through the atmosphere. Kane said nothing. He simply issued the next order. "All civilian channels, broadcast evacuation instructions. Get as many as possible underground. Activate the bunkers. Split communications into decentralized nodes. Make them chase our signals." A colonel at his side hesitated. "Sir, the orbital station crews are still online. They'll be overrun in minutes. Then they'll die in orbit instead of on Earth." Kane's tone was iron. "Order them to hold and fire until the last round. Every second they buy is another 1,000 lives below." The colonel's throat worked, but he nodded and relayed the order. Across the globe, the nightmare spread. Paris, alien war machines descended, their bodies half metal, half muscle. They sighed through streets with plasma blades, cutting through tanks as if they were paper. Shanghai, skyscrapers toppled into rivers of fire. Refugees stampeded for subways as ships leveled entire districts. Sao Paulo, the horizon itself burned crimson, the sky choked black with ash. Everywhere the same message repeated: annihilation. In Geneva, the bunker lights flickered as the command center's systems strained under constant data feeds. Kane's officers looked to him for direction, waiting for some sign of hope. He gave none, only orders, precise and sharp. But when the feeds showed alien troops executing civilians in New York, he leaned closer, eyes narrowing. On one screen, human resistance fighters, ordinary civilians with rifles, ambushed an alien patrol, vanishing back into the ruins after the strike. Kane studied the footage. Primitive, desperate, but effective. That night, the First Council convened underground. Politicians, generals, scientists, all arguing again. Some demanded surrender. Others proposed fleeing Earth entirely, abandoning billions. Kane listened in silence until he couldn't anymore. He rose, his voice cutting through the noise. You want to talk about surrender? Look outside. Those cities aren't occupied. They're ash. You can't surrender to fire. You survive it, or you burn with it. A senator sneered. What are you suggesting? That we fight them with hunting rifles? No, Kane said. We fight them with everything we've learned from killing each other. Guerrilla war. Ambushes. Sabotage. Humans have been perfecting ways to destroy stronger enemies since the first tribes fought with rocks. That's our weapon. That's how we survive. The room went silent. Finally, one general leaned forward. And if it fails? Kane met his eyes. Then we die on our feet, not on our knees. The next morning, Earth Defense Command broadcast a coded message to every resistance cell, every surviving military unit, every group still willing to fight. It was short, stripped of rhetoric, sharp as a knife. We've spent our entire history killing each other. Time to show the galaxy what we learned. Kane stood alone afterward, looking at the world map glowing red with enemy strikes. Entire continents scarred. Civilizations ending. He felt the weight of billions pressing on his shoulders, but his face never cracked. He whispered to himself, a vow meant for no one else. They came to erase us. We'll show them what a mistake that was. And as the alien armadas spread across the earth, the first embers of human defiance lit the ruins. The ruins of New York stank of smoke and blood. Ash fell like snow across shattered avenues where skyscrapers once stood. The city's heartbeat, traffic, sirens, chatter, had been replaced by silence punctuated with distant screams. Beneath the rubble, survivors crawled through basements and subway tunnels, hunted by alien patrols. On the cracked shell of Broadway, 5 figures lay in wait. They were not soldiers. One was a plumber, another a teacher, another a cab driver. All clutched scavenged rifles. Sweat dripped down their foreheads as an alien walker stalked the street, its claws clicking against the asphalt. The teacher whispered, "Now." A homemade explosive rolled from the shadows, bumping against the walker's leg. A sharp flash, then thunder. The machine toppled, smoke pouring from its ruptured chest. The cab driver leapt out, firing until the creature inside stopped moving. When the dust settled, the survivors disappeared again. No cheers, no celebration, just retreat into the ruins before the next patrol arrived. In Geneva's bunker, Commander Elias Kane studied the reports with grim satisfaction. Across the globe, stories like this multiplied. Humans were refusing to die quietly. He addressed his officers. We can't match them ship to ship. We bleed them on the ground. Every block, every street. That's how we buy time. Colonel Harper frowned. Sir, civilian militias won't last long against plasma weapons. They need coordination. They'll have it, Kane replied. He activated the holodeble, projecting a map riddled with red zones where aliens now controlled major cities. We decentralize. Resistance cells everywhere. No headquarters to bomb, no chain of command to break. I'll give them targets. They'll decide how to hit them. A younger officer hesitated. That sounds chaotic. Kane's mouth twitched, almost a smile. Exactly. Chaos is our ally. The Empire expects order. We'll give them madness instead. Within days, Kane's plan unfolded. In Berlin, resistance fighters disguised themselves as refugees, carrying concealed rail pistols. They detonated charges inside a garrison, leveling an alien command post. In Johannesburg, engineers turned mining equipment into railgun turrets, ripping through a patrol of alien walkers. In Tokyo, teenagers hijacked an alien drone using cracked code and sent it spiraling into its own troops. The Empire's war machine began to stumble. Patrols doubled, executions escalated, but the attacks only grew bolder. Archduke Varith Kale watched these developments from the command throne of his flagship. Around him, the bridge crew moved with fearful precision, unwilling to provoke his wrath. He studied the reports with a scowl. "This is beneath us," he growled. "An insect swarm biting at lions. Yet it slows us." One of his lieutenants, a pale alien with 6 eyes, spoke cautiously. "My lord, humans fight unlike other conquests. They improvise. Our usual suppressions are not effective." Varitha's eyes narrowed, burning. "Then we make examples. For every soldier they kill, 1,000 civilians die. Reduce their cities to ash until they beg for death." The lieutenant bowed, silent. Even he sensed the danger of underestimating humanity, but Varitha's arrogance blinded him. Kane soon faced another problem. His officers brought him footage from Sao Paulo, an entire district vaporized by orbital bombardment. Thousands incinerated in seconds. The political council pressed him. "Commander, this is madness. The more we resist, the harsher their reprisals. You'll get billions killed." Kane's gaze was cold. "They'll kill billions no matter what we do. The only choice is whether we die screaming, or they do." The room fell silent. No one dared counter him again. Weeks passed. Humanity bled, but so did the Empire. For the first time, alien casualties rose beyond expectations. Resistance tactics became legend whispered in bunkers. A farmer in Kansas lured a patrol into his fields and burned them alive with fuel lines. Hackers in Warsaw cracked alien communication relays, broadcasting human propaganda across occupied zones. "You are not alone. Fight." On the Pacific coast, a flotilla of fishing boats strapped with explosives rammed an alien barge, turning the sea into fire. Every act, however small, fed a growing defiance. Kane orchestrated the first coordinated global strike. On the Holodomor, he marked 4 cities: New York, Berlin, Tokyo, Johannesburg. "We hit them all at once. Multiple continents. Same hour. They'll scatter trying to respond." Colonel Harper asked. "Our objective? To show them humanity doesn't break." The hour came. In New York's ruins, resistance fighters baited a convoy of alien walkers into Central Park. Buried beneath the soil, a stolen nuclear core detonated, vaporizing the machines in a flash of blue fire. In Berlin, saboteurs cut power to alien shield generators, exposing their garrison to a rain of missiles from hidden launchers. In Tokyo, hackers turned captured drones against their masters, cutting down entire patrols before self-destructing. In Johannesburg, guerrillas disguised as alien slaves smuggled coil rifles into a processing facility, slaughtering the guards and seizing weapons. The strikes ignited simultaneously. Across the globe, the alien war machine staggered. Above Earth, an alien capital ship dropped into low orbit to reinforce New York. Kane had anticipated this. Hidden missile silos, long dormant since Earth's nuclear disarmament treaties, came alive under his command. "Launch!" he ordered. The missiles streaked upward, their warheads shrouded. As the capital ship's shields absorbed the first impacts, the last missile detonated its true payload, a repurposed fusion warhead. The explosion tore through the weakened shield, ripping open the ship's hull. For the first time, an alien leviathan fell burning into Earth's atmosphere. People across the planet watched its wreckage carve across the sky, a falling star of vengeance. In Geneva's bunker, cheers erupted. Officers slammed their fists against consoles, shouting, some even weeping. Kane alone remained still. He looked at the burning wreckage on the screens, then at his officers. Don't celebrate too soon, he said. We've woken the giant. Now they'll burn the earth to stop us. His words cut through the jubilation like steel. Silence fell again, replaced by grim understanding. That night, Kane walked the quiet corridors of the bunker, alone with his thoughts. The feeds replayed in his mind, burning cities, massacres, children hiding in ruins. Yet also the flashes of defiance, ordinary men and women refusing to submit. He whispered to himself, we're teaching them fear. That's new for them. Let's make it permanent. Humanity had drawn blood. And in the ashes of their ruined cities, a terrible truth was forming, one the Empire had not anticipated. Humans did not surrender. The world was broken. Whole continents lay scarred, cities reduced to blackened shells, oceans poisoned by falling wreckage. Yet through the devastation, humanity endured. In the bunkers, in the ruins, in the firelit streets, they sharpened their resolve. Commander Elias Kane stood in the command chamber beneath Geneva, staring at the holographic globe. Red zones dominated every continent. Alien fleets still orbited overhead. But now, green sparks dotted the map, resistance victories, ambushes, sabotage. Against all logic, Earth was still alive. Colonel Harper approached quietly. Reports confirm it, sir. They've begun to fear us. Patrols are lighter. Their commanders hesitate. Kane didn't smile. Fear makes them dangerous. Fear makes them desperate. We need to end this before they decide to glass the planet outright. End it? Harper frowned. How? Kane turned to him, his expression unyielding. We cut off the head. The plan was audacious, insane, some said. Infiltrate the Archduke's flagship, cripple the command structure, and kill Varith Kale himself. With their leader dead, the Empire's fleet would collapse into disorder. It was a long shot, but humanity thrived on long shots. Kane addressed his strike team in a dim bunker lit only by flickering lamps. The men and women before him were veterans of 100 ambushes, scarred survivors who had learned to kill the impossible. We're not soldiers anymore, Kane said, his voice steady. We're predators. And predators go for the throat. No one objected. The night of the assault, human hybrid dropships rose from hidden launch pads. Welded from scavenged alien tech and human ingenuity, they were ugly machines, but they flew. Camouflage systems stolen from wreckage masked their approach as they ascended toward the Empire's colossal dreadnought. Kane sat in the lead craft, armored in repurposed plating, coil rifle across his knees. He glanced at the soldiers beside him. Their faces were pale, grim, but determined. They knew the odds. None expected to return. As the ship neared the dreadnought, Kane broke the silence. Remember what's at stake. Billions counting on us. If we die cutting out the heart of this beast. The dropships latched onto the alien hull. Airlocks were breached with shaped charges. Then the strike teams poured in. The interior of the dreadnought was like stepping into the belly of a monster. Organic walls pulsing with light, corridors humming with alien energy. The first firefight erupted within seconds. Alien soldiers charged, towering figures with plasma rifles crackling. Humans met them head-on. Coil rounds shredded armor, explosives ripped through walls. Where weapons failed, knives and bare hands finished the job. The fighting was brutal, intimate, soaked in blood. An alien roared as it lunged at Kane, claws flashing. He sidestepped, slammed his rifle butt into its throat, and drove a combat knife up under its jaw. It collapsed at his feet. Kane didn't pause. He moved forward, relentless. The strike teams cut deeper into the dreadnought, leaving a trail of wreckage behind. On the command bridge, Archduke Varith Kale received the reports. His amber eyes narrowed as he rose from the throne of living metal. Humans, he hissed. They dare board my ship? His officers trembled. One stammered, My lord, they've breached multiple decks. Let them come, Varith said. His voice was cold steel. I'll show them what it means to defy gods. The final breach came at the bridge doors. Kane's team planted explosives, braced, and blew the entrance apart. Smoke billowed. Through it, Kane stepped into the command chamber. Vareth Kale stood tall at the far end, clad in armor that shimmered with alien light. Around him, consoles displayed the carnage outside, human hybrid warcraft tearing at the Empire's fleet, chaos spreading across the stars. Their eyes locked across the chamber. "You're insects," Vareth said, his voice echoing. "Biting lions, thinking yourselves mighty. Do you imagine you can topple an empire that has endured for millennia?" Kane raised his rifle but kept his voice calm. "I don't imagine. I know." The duel erupted. Vareth moved like a storm, his plasma blade carving arcs of white fire. Kane dodged, rolled, fired bursts that shattered consoles. Sparks rained as the bridge shook with every strike. His team tried to intervene, but Vareth hurled them aside with crushing blows. At last, Kane closed the distance. He dropped his rifle, drew a plasma charge from his belt, and slammed it against Vareth's chest. The alien roared, clawing at him, but Kane held fast. "You should have left us alone," Kane spat. The charge detonated. The explosion tore through the bridge. Vareth's body crumpled, armor shattered, his eyes dimming. The Archduke of the Galactic Empire was dead. The dreadnought faltered. Its systems flickered, command relays collapsing. Across orbit, alien fleets broke formation. Some tried to retreat, others fought without coordination. Human forces, patched together ships bristling with stolen weapons, struck hard. One by one, the Empire's vessels fell. On Earth, survivors poured from bunkers, watching the sky as alien leviathans burned and fell like meteors. The planet trembled, but this time, the fire came for their enemies. Hours later, Kane stood on the surface again, looking at the dawn rising over a ruined horizon. His armor was scorched, his body bleeding, but he still stood. Around him, the remnants of his team gathered, silent, exhausted. Colonel Harper approached. "It's over. The fleet's retreating. They're gone." Kane's gaze never left the horizon. "Not gone. Not yet. They'll remember. And they'll come again." Harper frowned. "Then what did we gain?" Kane finally looked at him. His voice was steady, quiet, but carried the weight of all that had happened. "We taught them something no one else ever did. That humanity doesn't kneel. We fight. We endure. And we kill giants." He turned back to the dawn, the light breaking across scorched ruins. "We are humanity," he said. "Let them whisper that name in fear." Earth was scarred, billions dead, civilizations in ruins. But the impossible had been done. The Galactic Empire had bled, and its Archduke lay dead. For the first time in millennia, the stars trembled at a new force rising. Humanity had survived. Humanity had triumphed. And the galaxy would never forget it.